Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at justkkeepswimming_podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. It's your friend, your boy, your host, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we back at it again with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me. It's my boy, Mr.
1-3,
the man, the myth, the legend.
Trois.
Feeling good today, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We finally live, baby.
We live,
Yes.
baby. Yes, sir. Yes, as you guys can see, you can actually see my face for the first time ever, except for hearing my beautiful voice. You now can see my beautiful eyes. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. And we have a very special episode for you. We have a Halloween Campfire special that we're about to perform today. And we have a very special guest in the house, bringing them back for what, fourth time?
Third time, I believe.
Third time? Yes, we bring him back for the third time, and he's lived up, ready to go in his Halloween attire. Mr. PJ. PJ, how we doing today, brother?
Great, man. Great.
Yes, sir. Good to see you again, man.
Likewise.
Yes, man. I just want to say thank you so much for making this possible for us and helping us out with
100%.
everything. You know what I'm saying? This beautiful couch that you brought in, and we really made a studio out of nothing, man. So I appreciate you so much, PJ.
It's nothing. I appreciate it, dude. And I like the eye.
I like the eye, too. The eye is dope, bro.
It's
The eye is
piercing.
dope. I can't stop looking at it. I'm trying to look away from it, but I love it, man.
Serving its purpose, then.
And doing his job, no question. So we're going to just dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. And for today's topic, we're going to focus on something a little spookier than we normally do. We're going to talk about some ghost stories, some alien encounters, anything that's just supernatural. And also during this episode, being that we're live with a wonderful live studio audience make some noise. Woo! Studio audience the opportunity to be able to come up and share their story as well. So we're going to make this really interactive. If you guys are on IG and you guys want to join, make sure to DM us and we can possibly get you in on IG as well. Definitely Mr. T's Mac got that rocking and rolling because he's the most amazing producer over there. Everybody make a applause for T's Mac, please.
Woo! Yeah.
He over here flexing like always. Little bitty muscles. I love it. Cool, so we're going to just dive right into it. So, PJ, you ready to rock and roll, brother?
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. So, I brought you on for this episode personally because I know that you have had a lot of supernatural experiences in your life, from aliens to semi-ghosts. I know you do a lot of stuff in the spiritual realm as well. So I was just hoping you could just share some of your experiences today and possibly give me some goosebumps, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can share some stuff, but I don't know about aliens, but I can share some stuff.
For sure. So we're going to start off with something that's super simple. I kind of just want to know, what do you think the definition of supernatural or all these experiences are? Like, what is the definition for you?
The unexplained is basically what you can categorize that as. The unexplained is basically what I feel like you can categorize that as.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I believe it is.
Okay. And then what was like your first ever experience with the unexplained?
My first one. Okay, so my first one I would say is I grew up in the South with my grandmother, and so one day I hear my grandmother yelling and screaming. And she's like, Ralph is in the house, Ralph. So I get up and I run into the living room thinking somebody trying to break into my house, my grandmother's house. And she's sitting on the chair and she's holding her heart. And she was like, baby, I just seen my brother standing right there. He's been dead. I never met him. So he's been dead for at least 16, 17 years at the time because I was around 16, 15. So that was my first experience to where like it's definitely a whole lot more to life than I know about. But 'cause my grandmother was the most intelligent person that I knew at the time, you know. So like I looked up to my grandmother and I knew it, you know, it was definitely something there. Like I said, she was sitting on the chair holding her heart like she had fell back into the chair. And that was my first experience. And literally at that same house, I remember my aunt coming one day and we had went grocery shopping and my aunt had stayed at the house. And then when we get back, my aunt was like, Geneva, all these tokens around your house. I'm tired of these tokens or something like that. And I didn't know what tokens meant at the time.
Right.
But come to find out that that's a term that they use for like supernatural, ghost or whatever. So she was saying like somebody knocked on the door and she go to the door, nobody's at the door. Then she hears somebody walking down the hallway and she was like, it's nobody there. That's what she was saying in the story. But like I said, at the time, I didn't know what tokens meant. So I did not know like what she was talking about until I got older. So I would say that's like my first experiences basically of like supernatural stuff.
So like I know that normally supernatural occurrences, like I guess portrayed by the media, usually happen at like night. Like what time of day did these like events?
So this was actually daytime. The
Really?
It was daytime. 'Cause like I said, we was grocery shopping. So it was daytime that this happened.
That's wild.
Yep.
And so it's like no time of it's any time of day.
Anytime of day. Anytime of day.
Okay.
That's wild.
So,
Why do you? I was gonna go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, why do you think it's always portrayed like in the dark sometimes with like, you know, common media like movies and things like that? Is it just for the creepiness factor? You think,
No, I don't think it's the creepiness factor. I think that you actually have something called a witching hour, and this is from 3 to 6.
Right.
So during those times, I think the energy, what the scientifically they want to say is that the energy is denser around that time. So at nighttime, it's more probable that you would see something like that. Then also you got something called the delta state. So when people are in the delta state, you have sleep, basically is what that state is, that you see stuff. You actually see stuff.
Really?
Yeah, you can actually see stuff in the delta state.
So do you think they're actually seeing, like, you know, the unexplained, or they're low-key visualizing, you know, making it up in their head?
Well,
Since they're half asleep?
it can be both, you know. So actually in your brain, you can create stuff. So it really goes deep. So you got different realms, and in your mind, you literally can create things. So we can get deeper into that another day, but some of them are created, and then some of them are actually there. So you have what's ghosts, and then you have energetic imprints. So you can have somebody that smoked cigarettes and sat on a couch for 20 years of their life, basically. And somebody can move into that house, and they can see the energetic imprint of that person and even smell their cigarette sometimes.
Right.
So, yeah, those are energetic imprints, and it's basically like a repetitive energy that you see. And then you have actual spirits that are out there that you can communicate with that are basically conscious. And, you know.
That's crazy, bro.
Interesting.
That's why. Have you ever had like an experience with one of those like energetic spirits? You feel?
Oh, of course. I don't know if I want to go too deep into it, but I
Come on, man.
Why
You gotta
not?
spell this
Yeah.
out, bro.
I have. So, all right. So I'm the type that if you tell me fire burn, I got to go see for myself. So don't ever tell me not to do something because I'm gonna go do it. And so basically, when I was younger, I kind of got tied into EFI. I don't know if anybody knows what EFI is.
No.
Yeah, so I got tied into EFI. It's basically like hoodoo, what some people would consider voodoo, but it's not voodoo. It's a lifestyle. It's more than a lifestyle than a religion. So I started working into that, and then I think that was my first experience that I had that I consider spiritual or supernatural. Well, spiritual. So what ended up happening was I did a ritual, and then that night I had like a dog face, kind of like being. It was like a big, dark, masculine figure come up to me, and it had like a dog face. And it put its head on my chest. And when it put its head, first it was looking at me, and I look at this thing, and then it just comes down, and it puts its head on my chest. And at that point, I have sleep paralysis, and I couldn't move. And I had like flashbacks during that period, and I feel like that was something that I asked for. That was more of a spiritual entity that I had contacted and communicated with, or contacted rather.
Right.
Yeah, so
So, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So I was going to ask you, I'm glad you brought up sleep paralysis because I feel like I've had that a lot of times in my life
as
for
well.
sure. So I was wondering, like, do you think sleep paralysis is connecting with some spirits?
It can be, but you can do something called ESP, and you have sleep paralysis at the same time. So you can do remote viewing, basically. It's kind of like, it's not remote viewing, it's actually ESP.
Right.
And you go through sleep paralysis at that time. So yeah, it can be tied to stuff they call a witch riding your back. I feel like you know,
Right.
but a lot of the times you could literally be having an out of body experience, and when you recognize it, you're in sleep paralysis.
Right.
You know, so.
That's deep. That's deep. And that's exactly what it feels like at times. Because, like, for my sleep paralysis, it was always something reoccurring too, which really blew my mind. So for me, it was always, my dad had a big white Ford Expedition, and I used to drive it to school during senior year. So I always had this reoccurring dream of I'm driving it, and as I'm driving it, I'm driving down, I can tell you exactly, I'm driving down Camino Norte, right down this hill, right in front of Sheet Strand Park, and right when I get to that stoplight, the brakes go out. And every single time in the same spot, the brakes go out. And then I'm just sitting here stuck, and I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm about to go through the light. So right when I go through the light, I close my eyes. And then once I close my eyes, I'm stuck. And I can't do nothing. And, like, I hear people talking, I hear voices, but I can't move, I can't breathe. I want to scream. I'm trying to do anything to let people know I'm here, you know, but I can't do nothing about it. And I just never understood what that was. You know
A lot of the times when you can't breathe, that's related to an out-of-body experience.
Mm-hmm.
And when you catch your breath, you come right back into your body.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it feels like. You catch your breath, and I feel like I jump out of bed low-key a little bit.
Yeah, makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
That's crazy.
Because I used to have it a lot too. I remember the first time I had it was like back in middle school summer, and probably because I was just staying up from 5 to 5 a.m. like every single day because I had the time. But
Lifetime job, right?
But I remember I was sleeping in my room, and I was facing the direction of my closet, and it was open. And I just randomly wake up, but I can't move, and it's hard to breathe, as you said before. But as I'm just like laying there looking at the closet, I see this like black shadow just like slowly rise from deep within it, and then it kind of has like somewhat of a formation of like a small girl, and then like it had red eyes, and I'm just like,
What house was this in?
this was in
That house?
yes,
Oh,
bro, yes. Like the same closet, the same one I look at every night when I go to sleep now. Except I'm not scared anymore. But like that moment, it was just rising, right, and then it just slowly started to creep forward, and I just couldn't do anything until probably it got maybe 5 feet away from my bed, and then I jolted up, and you know, I don't even know how to explain that. Like, do you have an idea of what that could have been? Like, was it just a hallucination? Do you think it was some type of spirit? What's your...
It's definitely a possibility. It could have been something, but I don't know. You know, it's not enough information for me to kind of tell you. I don't know. But it definitely could have been something, you know.
Is it ever, like, dangerous, you think? Or can it be ever dangerous?
Yeah, you have possessions, you know, where they take over people.
Huh.
You know, so it can be dangerous, you know. But if you are protected, I feel like you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Well, glad I'm here today.
So then, with that protected, how do you get protected? How do you protect yourself?
Well, I feel like if you are religious and you work with a deity, well, a god, like your God is going to protect you. And it's different ways. It's different ways. You don't need a deity, though. You can protect yourself. It's different things you can do to protect yourself. But, you know, I don't know. It's a theory of mine that I feel like the people that don't believe in anything, they're more susceptible to being possessed. Because I feel like, it's a human design speaks of this. Basically, it's you have an energy center, and if that energy center is empty, something can feel it. So, exactly.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So, yeah, if you don't believe in nothing, you better believe in something.
Better believe in something.
Fall for anything.
Yeah, fall for anything, literally.
Yeah.
Something falls for you, shit. I love it. So, yeah, cool. So then one of my next questions was, I know you talked about rituals. So I was wondering, like, what type of ritual did you do to have a demon dog come put his head on your chest?
Just some other. That's something for a different day.
Okay, let's switch it up the question then. Why do rituals attract these type of things?
You have to call on them. You have to know how to, basically call on them, dial into them. So that's what you do your rituals for. Yeah.
So is it just like...
But, go ahead.
I was just to say, like, so is the rituals just a specific way of tapping into that other realm?
You can say that. Yeah, you can say that.
I mean, could I just call the ghost homie, like, by just saying, hey, come here?
You actually can. Depending on how strong the energy is, but you actually can. I was at a house, and they would call this ghost by name. And they could literally call this ghost by name, and then after a while, something would fall, or a noise would happen or something like that. So you actually can, depending on how strong the energy is in certain places.
Okay, well, that also kind of reminds me of the Bloody Mary.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that. Bloody Mary, bro.
Candyman.
Yeah,
I don't
Candyman
know
too.
about the Bloody Mary or the Candyman, y'all. So.
You know,
I know, I've heard of it, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You don't know the validity of it, I guess.
Yeah, that's one thing I never did was to go in the mirror and turn off the lights and say, nah, I wasn't doing that.
I mean, hearing about it had me not wanting to go in my bathroom for like a week as a elementary schooler. I was like, that was good.
Nah, for real though. So, would you say that all spirits that visit you are bad?
No,
Or
not at all.
no?
Not at all. So you can have ancestors. You can have a lot of different spirits visit you. Like I said, you can be in the area and like you have a residual energy, and you know those people visit that area. Like they come back there. So no, not all energies are bad. Not all. You got angels. You got different types of energies there.
Right. So then, how would you differ between them then?
Well, that's something different. Well, if you're in tune enough, I think that you literally feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So, theory that I heard before that extraterrestrial or something like that, if it's not a human spirit, basically, it says you can kind of feel it in your energy field. So, for example, like a deer or a bear, the deer or bear don't have to see you or smell you, but it senses you being in the area. So they say that it's basically the same thing with certain spiritual energies or dimensional beings.
Right.
That you can feel them. So and then spirits, they say usually you don't get that energy of like the hair stand up on you or something's watching you type thing.
Mm-hmm. So, understandable. That's deep, bro. I appreciate everything man. That was some real stuff. So do you have another spirit story you'd like to share with us?
I got one that's a little different, and it's a little weird. It actually happened right here down the street. I had an apartment on Vegas and Buffalo, and it's literally right here on the corner.
Yeah.
So I'm walking, me and my partner walking my dog one night, taking my dog down to like where they use the bathroom in the back of the corner of the apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably, I don't know, it's probably 11, 12 o'clock, something like that. It's the last time I take my dogs out for the night. And my neighbor's sitting outside, and he's like practicing like yoga, kind of like. And it's like I said, it's late. It was kind of weird that he was out there doing that. So we walked down to the front.
Yoga at 12 a.m.
Yeah. And he had like a lawn chair, an old lawn chair. He would sit on the lawn chair, and then he'd get up and do that. So we walk past him, we speak, and then at the end of it is like a little playground where I'll take my dog to use the bathroom. So we're sitting there, me and the homie, just having a conversation, and literally probably 50, 60 feet away, it's like the corner, and it's a wall right here. And we're talking, and look up, and you see a bag. So like a grocery bag, like a plastic grocery bag.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes straight up in the air, just like this. And it's slightly windy outside, but we don't realize that until like a few seconds in. So the bag is floating up, it just goes straight up. And then there's power lines right here. There's 4 or 5 power lines. So literally this thing goes up, and then it looked like it's kind of like navigating, but it gets stranger. So I don't know if you can, you know how a jellyfish kind of like has a neon like post to it, or it can kind of like change its color, but neon post. Mm-hmm. So this thing is clear, or like a trash bag, like not trash bag, like a plastic grocery bag, but it's a pulse to it. That's like a blue light. Literally. So it goes through the light line, and then it starts to do like this, like it's trying to navigate through the light line. It literally goes straight up. So at this point, me and my homie like run up on the top of the slide, and we're looking at this thing. And like I said, we're 50, 60 feet away from this thing. And we're staring like this, like what could this possibly be? All right, so it gets weirder. Yeah, it gets weirder, y'all. So this thing goes up, and then I'm a little bit older. So when I was young, they had 3-liter bottles. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a 3-liter bottle, but a 3-liter bottle looked like a 2-liter bottle. It's just fatter, right?
Right.
All right, so right in front of me, y'all, it didn't take no time to transform. It's like a transparent, it go from this big grocery bag, like a grocery bag, to a big 3-liter bottle, like this, about this size, and it's spinning. I can literally see it. I'm 50, 60 feet away from this thing, and it's transparent. Like I can literally see through it, and it looked like it's a glowing, like I said, jellyfish or something. It's like pulsing. So it's doing this. It's spinning this way, and then it's spinning this way. Just like this. Wow. So it's apartments on the other side of that fence. So it's starting to go to like the peak of the apartments, and then it turns into a ball. Literally a ball about this big. And then another ball splits out of that ball, and it's still pulsing that color the whole time, but it's still it's transparent.
So I have no clue, bro. So it splits into that second ball and it starts going towards like Red Rock to the west side. So we forget about my dogs, bro. Like we just gone and we run down the slide and we're hauling butt back to the house. So I hear like we were running and then I hear scuffling like somebody's in the rocks. Man, that old man that was out there doing yoga, he had to be 60, 70 years old. That old man had jumped the dang fence.
To go see what it was.
And he jumps the fence and we didn't know what it was. So we were like, what in the world? And the old guy's like, did y'all see that? We were like, yeah, what did you think that was? And he was like, a RC something. We're like, bro, that ain't no RC. Bro, that ain't no RC plane, man. Like, I'm right here on this thing. I can see exactly what it was. And yeah, like we got back to my house, man, and talked about it, and it was just like the strangest. That was the literal strangest experience I ever seen. And I looked it up, and I have never seen any UFO, nothing like that ever in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the strangest one I've ever. And it was no drugs involved. It was no.
Like, was you drinking?
No, it wasn't none of that, man. Like. That was the strangest one I've ever experienced. I've had other UFO sightings, but that was the strangest thing I've ever experienced. Yeah, and I'm 50, 60 feet away from this thing, right here on Vegas and Buffalo.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's crazy, bro. And it's like, and this is probably before smartphones and everything, huh?
No, it wasn't that long. Probably 8 years ago, but you ain't thinking about recording
that.
none of that. You just like, what am I seeing? Like, what is this right here? What's about to happen? So, but yeah, it was 3 people that seen it. My neighbor and my homeboy that was like right there. A guy named Brandon Allen. Like I can call him up to this day, and he got the same story. Craziest thing I've ever seen.
And it's lovely. And it's beautiful when it's not just you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love that. I love that feeling, man. No, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So at this point right here, I'd like to open up the couch to anybody else out there who would love to share any type of ghost story, supernatural story, alien encounter. Anybody that would like to step up and share something, I would truly appreciate it. If not, I can share my alien encounter.
Yeah, share yours first.
Share my encounter?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna share my encounter. So, and mine's encounter, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of feel like they wiped my mind a little bit, cause, but all I know is, and I have somebody here to testify for that too, Miss Esdell. Yeah, so we was driving down the street late night one night. I can't tell you if I came from a kickback from my cousin's house, what it was, but it was some late night on the 215 before they built it up, when it was just, a 2-lane road. It was all desert and dirt and whatever. So we just driving. I'm driving my Expedition, of course. Yeah. I'm in the damn Expedition. And we just riding down the street, and it's hella dark outside, but we just riding. I can't even tell you what song was playing or anything. I just know it was late, and we heading home. And as we're heading home, out of nowhere, we get hit with a big, bright light. And it was just a big, white light at first, right? And I'm just sitting here, and it's just quiet now. And it's like, what is this light? Yeah, that was mine, right? They calling me, right? Don't tell that story. So yeah, we riding, and then the light hits us, and the light covers the whole car. And you can clearly see everything inside the car. Like, the car is clear right now. Like, we can see each other clearly inside the car. And mind you, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
While you driving, bro, right?
Well, I'm driving, yeah. So I'm going 60, and the light is just with me, and it's following me. And then the light is just white, and then it starts to turn from a white to a blue, and then it turns like the brightest blue you ever seen. Like, you can tell it's blue still, but it's just a super bright blue, and then gone. And then it just disappeared. And it was just like, what the fuck just happened? And it was one of those, you didn't need no words to confirm it either. It was just like, look, like, I know you saw what I saw. What the hell just happened? I'm just gonna keep driving home. I didn't drop no speed, I didn't stop, nothing. It was like, I'm going home. But it was just one of those, like, yeah, we probably just got kidnapped or alien abducted and don't even know. They put us right back in the same spot. I don't know what happened. But yeah, it's one of those memories that's just, I know it happened, but it's to the point now I can't tell you how long ago it was. I had to be while I was in college at some point, but that's all I know.
I was gonna say that's when like the 215 was still not that developed yet.
Exactly. So like that's all I know. But yeah, bro, it was crazy. It was the most craziest thing ever. Like, I never experienced something like that.
That's random.
Random, bro. It was so random. And it was so random. Mind you, same condition. Yeah, I was probably a little high. I'm not gonna lie. But if anything, I was coming down. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, I was in that mode of I'm ready for bed. I'm hungry. But yeah, nah, that right there was just too wild. So that's my experience I had. I don't know what you got.
So, Fernando, do you mind if I tag you in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, bro. I'm gonna need you to come through.
Step into the couch. We have Mr. Fernando, aka our wonderful photographer here for today.
AKA because he keeps it a book, and that's gonna come into this. Thanks for
the rocking the shirt.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for the rocking logo.
I feel like I ain't rocking it enough then. I gotta double down here.
So,
Just do the knocking one first.
okay.
The
cool.
knocking one.
Yeah,
Knocking
yeah.
like some-
Okay, so let's just go back to Reno, first year of college. Don and I were moving up together, and then he lived we were in the same building in Reno. We were housing there, and he lived exactly 1 floor above me. So his room was directly above mine, and I remember we found out because we were moving stuff, and I was like, somebody's being really loud upstairs. And I was calling him, and he was like, really? And then he dropped something, and I heard it on the phone. And I heard it from above me, and I'm like, hey, yo, is that you? And so then we started talking, and then he's like, hey, I met these 2 girls. Let's go talk to them. I was like, yeah, for sure. So he comes down, and then we meet up in my room. And so we start walking out, and he's calling her. And then we hear the phone ring right next to me.
Yeah.
The door next
yeah.
door to us, to me, was the girl that he had met a couple weeks prior.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an honor.
So I was like, hey, yo. So we all got to be super good friends to the point where like we would all like sleep over in one person's room and then, wake up and then go to class the very next day.
Yeah.
And so...
Did you bring in your mattress?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would even bring in my mattress so that we could all sleep there. So then one of these days, just actually a build up to that, to know if Donovan was next door or not, I would knock on the wall. It would be some kind of rhythm. I'd be like, and then Donovan would knock back.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we would know.
And we just be goofing around like the whole time, yeah.
We would make beats. We would do everything just to know, like, okay, somebody's next door. Let's go hang out. And so one of these days, I sleep over, bring my mattress. We're all chilling in the room. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go to class. I'm like 10 minutes late at this point. So then I get up and I start running towards the elevator. I'm like, wait, I need my backpack. So then I start running back to my room. And I see Donovan leaning over the wall and he's knocking on the wall. I'm like, you good? Because I'm not there.
Bro, the way I looked back at the doorway when he did that, I'm like, stop lying, bro. Like, you're over here. Who are you?
Whoa. So you were knocking to somebody.
Yes, dude.
You were having a full beat conversation, and
I heard a knock. I was like, yo, your city. Like, yo. So we're knocking back, and he knocks back. And I knock back. And then Fernando appears at the doorway. I'm like, yo, how'd you get out of your room that fast? And I was like, no, I never went into my room. And I'm like, all right.
And so at that point, originally the room was supposed to be for 2 people. So one of my friends at the time and I had moved up together. But then he had to move back to Vegas for personal reasons. And I had the room to myself. He didn't, they were supposed to give me another roommate, but they didn't for like
Probably
a
until like
semester and a half.
Yeah, until like the last quarter, I think.
Yeah, so when that happened, I had already been assigned a roommate. So then Don was like, oh, maybe it's your roommate. I was like, yo, this man is never there. Because his girlfriend lived, coincidentally, in the same building. But he slept over in her room all the time. So he was never in our room. So I was like, I highly doubt it. It's unlikely.
Yeah.
And then I told Don, I was like, here's the key. Like, you can open it if you want. And he's like, bet. And he opens the door and there's nobody there.
oh Lord.
At that point, we both had goosebumps. We were looking at each other like, this isn't real.
That's crazy, bro.
So to bring in the second story, because I don't know why the fuck we decided to go into your room to do this activity in the first place. So
Pause.
Yeah.
Right, like that.
So my friend, like another one of our friends, coincidentally lived in the same building, the floor above us. He had a Ouija board.
Oh my god.
You know what? Screw it, right? And
In Nye Hall?
no, Sierra. So, and that was built over like one of those
Yeah,
Indio
oh,
burial
yeah,
grounds.
yeah.
Sierra was like
Yeah.
a few years older than I.
Yeah, y'all tripping.
Where the elevators broke down off. Anyways, so we get the Ouija board and we're in, and like my girlfriend at the time's just watching on the bed because she wasn't messing with it, which was a smart idea.
Yeah. Intelligent.
So, so, you know, we get the planchette, right? And, you know, blah, 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 do the little ritual, I guess.
They tell us the rules first, though.
Y-
So they break
Yeah.
down the rules and they're like, you can't take your hands off, don't be disrespectful, don't ask about religion,
Always say goodbye.
always say goodbye.
Yeah.
They give us a whole list of rules, and then Dom and I were just like this, intently listening not to miss a single one. None of us are trying to get flipped over and have something attached.
Wow.
So it was me, Fernando, and our friend Arena. So, you know, we get the planchette, we start the thing, and, you know, is anybody there? Blah, blah, blah. And I shit you not, like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it's subconscious, you move the planchette and then go. No, this thing, we all have our, it's like a little triangle thing, right? We all have our fingers on the bottom base. Why is it pulling, like dragging itself from the point on the top?
Oh, hell
Like
no.
it's literally like it had like a leash and it was just pulling like this. And it was like, okay. So it was like, okay, well, what's your name? And then it dragged itself, spelled its name. I don't want to say the name, but yeah, it spelled its name, answered a couple questions, and I was like, yeah, I'm about done. So we stopped. I go sit next to
Forgot
my
to say
girlfriend.
goodbye?
No. We
say
said goodbye.
We say goodbye.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
I saw this movie. Okay.
No, we said goodbye, and I decided to take my ex's ID at the time and go sit on the bed because Fernando decided to play again with Arena. So
Rena
I
was like, I'm not done. I was like, okay, let's run it back.
let's explain your part, and then I'll throw the little ad lib in with it.
So at this point, Arena is like, okay, do you remember the rules? I was like, yeah, we just went over them. So we did the 3 circles. Was it 3?
Yeah, I think
I think
it's
it's
3.
3. And then we did the 3 circles, and then we were just waiting. And then Arena's asking questions. And then she breaks one of the rules. She asks about religion.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, yo, we just talked about this. So how are you going to do this to me? And so it was winter. And I remember, just again, precursor, I closed the windows because it was cold. And so
Did we have the
we
heater
were
on
just
too?
sitting there. No,
No, we didn't have
it
the
was
heater on.
off. But it was warm in the room.
Mhm.
So we're just sitting there waiting, and Arena's asking her questions. And I start feeling really cold on my right arm. This is just my right arm, and it's just this like section on my forearm.
Mm.
And I'm like, hey Donovan, can you close the window, please? Like, it is cold.
The window was closed.
Donovan goes, and he's like, it's closed. I was like, there's no way. Because my left arm feels fine, but my right arm is freezing.
Oh,
And so I'm like, Donovan, please, just grab my arm. Tell me I'm not crazy. This man, he comes over, grabs my arm.
his arm is ice. Like not just cool, it's ice. Just here though, I touched his other arm, I touched his like biceps and shoulder, warm. It's just this part. Explain that.
And so at this point, I'm like, Arena, we gotta go. We gotta cut it. We're done. We say goodbye, and then we're done. She takes the board away, and that was it. We no longer mess with it.
I'm sorry I had to ditch you too, because I was not sleeping in there with you.
Yeah, nah, for real. I'm not doing nothing in that room. Like, that room is canceled.
That first year of college just had so many experiences in that room.
Yeah.
This is the third one. I think the most, eye-opening. So at this point, I had accepted I was living with something. And, I'm not a person that gets like typically scared by these things. I kind of just accept it as it is what it is. I'm not gonna be able to do anything to stop it. And if I try, it's gonna get pissed off, and I'm not trying to do anything more than I have
You
to.
about to explain the trash can thing?
No, the movie.
Oh yeah, that part too.
So, again, late night, probably like 2, maybe 3 in the morning. We were all up. We were all night owls at that point in our lives. And so there were 3 guys, Donovan, his at the time girlfriend's friend's boyfriend,
Yes.
and I. Just for not to out him, let's call him John. So Donovan, John, and I, we were like, hey, let's watch a horror movie. And we were like,
In his
yeah,
room.
great. And so the girls were like, no, we're not watching horror movies. And so, but the 3 of us were like, yeah, let's go for it. And I was like, okay, we're gonna go to my room, we're gonna watch a horror movie, and the girls can stay in here. And so John, Don, and I were like, okay, so we headed over, and we sat down. I had a little TV, and we pulled the chairs up, and we started watching the movie. But I was like, hey, I can't watch a scary movie with the lights on.
Yeah.
So I go around the dorm, and I start turning all the lights off. And I sit down, and I start playing it again. And then Donovan tells me, hey, you left the bathroom light on. I was like, no, I didn't. And I look over, and it's on. I'm like, okay, I probably missed it. It's in the bathroom, whatever. I get up again, I go turn it off, and I sit back down. And then this time you hear the click,
Oh, hell
And
no.
it turns on.
and it turns on. And John looks over, and he's like, Ayo, I know you just turned that off. Like, I saw you get up, and you clicked it. And I was like, I know. So then at this point, I'm like, okay, 3rd time's a charm, I'm just gonna turn it off. Yeah.
3rd time.
So I walk over and I turn it off. I sit back down, start the movie. It was clean for like 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden, boom!
All the lights
all
turn on. All the lights turn on.
all the clicks. It was like
Wow.
Donovan bolts. I have never seen this man move that fast, and he was on the football team. He moved,
Wow.
but he moved.
There's no asking questions. I'm figuring out, yo, I'm a go. I'm the guy, bro. I'm the first one.
Yeah, I feel it, bro. Man, do we have anybody else in the audience with a great story? Oh, yes, please. Come step up. Mr. Fernando, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. To the couch, we have Miss Rachel, thank you so much, Rachel, for joining us. I appreciate you.
I have a few. Do you want alien or do you want supernatural ghost shit?
I want all of them, right?
Yeah,
I want those in.
First do you want though is the question.
Aliens. We heard aliens from the audience. Thank you, audience.
Gotcha. So for like backstory, is that was service for 7 years. My first duty
Thank you
location
for
was
service.
Alaska. If you've ever seen the 4th Kind, it fucks you up going there. Okay. I'm just saying. It was weird going up there, but it was 2013. I got there in October. Of course, it was October. And it was Halloween weekend. Okay, keep that in mind. I got there on October 23rd, and this weird shit happened like Halloween weekend. So coming up on our anniversary here, yay! But I just got into my barracks, and I had just settled in. I finally went to sleep. This is probably the 3rd week I was there. And you know when people are driving by your window and like there's a really bright light because they want to put them bright ass lights, that shit. That's what it looked like when I was dead asleep. Like I was in a run, like I was out, and it was just bright. And for the longest time I thought it was a dream, but it was like I wasn't sedated, but I could see weird grayish figures standing in a circle, right? And then it felt like something was in my throat. Like I couldn't breathe through my nose. I couldn't breathe like normal. Like it felt like forced air. And it felt like when they were touching my skin, it felt slimy and cold and gross. Like I can, the details of it, and like I can remember what they sound like, and they had the lowest like humming voice. Like it almost sounded like a really low hymn when they were speaking. It was so odd. And I remember like my arm being like cut open, right? And I do have a scar.
Oh, wow.
So
After
I remember
that
it being cut open and then something being put in. Like I can remember the feeling of like an object being slid into your skin.
Oh, wow.
Ew, right? So, and then all of a sudden I could breathe through my nose, and the moment like I took that deep breath in, I woke up. and I was in my room again, except I wasn't in the same shirt I had gone to bed in, and
wow.
I was not in the same pants I was wearing when I went to bed.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe it was sleepwalking. Like I wrote off all these things, but man, my throat hurts so freaking bad. I finally went to the hospital, and I was like, all right, I need to get this checked out. Maybe it's strep. Like in my head, I'm like being delusional. Nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor was like, oh, did you have an airway put in recently? Like, did you have a treatment? And I'm like,
That's crazy.
I'm sorry, can you run that back?
Right.
Run that back. What did you say? Oh yeah, it looks like you had an air tube in. Like, did you have a procedure done? And I'm like, not here.
Not this minute, yeah.
Not fucking here. And so then I went home and I kept like, I can't find, it's not there now, but like, I could feel like a rod, like, I don't know if anybody knows like what Nexplanon is, birth control. It felt like that, but like down in my forearm. And I could feel it for the longest time. And then like, after a few years, it was just gone. Like, I can't find it again.
Have you ever had x-rays on your arm during that time?
Mm-mm.
So it's funny you said that because I was watching something that said that usually people that said they were abducted, they say when you get x-rays on spots where they feel like they had the thing, you literally see the piece of metal. And it's always like...
Yeah, no, every x-ray I had was fine, but you can see an incision that was done.
Uh-huh.
But, like, it was weird. It's, like, it's here, cut sideways, but the way it healed was weird, hence why I put a little tattoo over it. We're gonna pretend it's not there.
Ironically, it's a ghost.
Like, oh, spooky shit, let's put it right there, perfect. But, so that was my alien experience. I haven't had one since, and I haven't had any of those weird dreams, and I have keep that way, please, knock on wood, wherever it may be.
Right.
That was my weird experience. I didn't feel body violated per se. It was just like thinking of the dream. I'm like, ew, slimy fingers were touching my skin. Like
So
it's
it's
just ugh.
A guy named Jamie Statman. You can look into him, and he studied people that had that happen.
Yeah.
And he says that it puts off a radio frequency, and you can usually find them. And what he says is the nerve endings from your fingertips charge these things and gives them like an electrical pulse to where you can pick them up with, I guess, RF frequency reader.
Whoa, that's weird. But
His
cool.
name is Jamie Statman.
I'm about to look that up and just go down this whole rabbit hole. So that's my alien story. Like, it wasn't, I mean, I guess it is kind of crazy when I say it out loud. But, like, to me, I was like, I still think it's, like, it felt like a very vivid dream. Like, you know, you just recall the details in a vivid dream. That's what it felt like. And, But waking up was the weird, it was like a vacuum effect, like getting sucked right back into my body kind of thing, but breathing-wise. It was weird.
That's
So,
crazy.
That's the alien one. And then I have tons of ghost ones. Which ones would you like? Childhood? Teen years? Adult years?
I want the one that's going to make my hair actually stand up. I want the wildest one you got. Yeah, dig deep in the archives.
I gotta dig deep in like which
dig
one.
deep in the archives.
They're all kind of fun. Well, the first one I can remember, I was, what grade? Middle school? I was grade school. I was a little baby. I lived up in Minnesota at the time, so it's winter time. Windows are closed, it's cold, there's snow everywhere, and we do have a basement. All houses up north have basements. So it wasn't like uncommon to be down there. And my parents' room were down there, our laundry room was down there, and I was down there helping my mom. And kind of like the tiles here, we had these kind of tiles downstairs, but they were metal. And then we had a curtain over our laundry room door. It comes into play in a second. And I can remember folding like clothes with my mom, bitching about having to do it because I didn't want to do it. I wanted to go do other things, not fold clothes. And then we felt the coldest breeze come down from the stairs and into the laundry room. You could see the curtains actually push and open. And I looked at my mom and she looked at me, and then the bathroom that was down there, 4 tiles had fallen. And there's no way to move these tiles unless you push it up yourself and like shift it and move it down. Like there's no way you can move them. I have never ran so fast in my life. I'm not an athlete, would not go for that. And I went out that back door so fast and stuff. I was in shorts and a t-shirt. I didn't care that it was -20. I was not, no.
I mean, the adrenaline keep you
And my mom was
up.
fine. She's like, oh yeah, I mean, they've been here for a while. And I'm like,
oh wow.
Mom,
She
no.
was used to it.
Ew, yeah. She was fine with it. She's like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal. And I'm like, no, that's weird. So like, that's the first one I remember when I was itty bitty. My other ones are kind of more, I guess, spiritual realm-ish. I used to read tarot cards very frequently,
Mm.
but I always read people's deaths, and they were never wrong.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I stopped doing that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But like, after the deaths would occur, they would have full conversations with me after the fact.
Oh wow.
Like they would leave that whenever they died, they would see me, and then I would get the call not even 24 hours later that that person had passed.
Oh wow.
So like, and my kid's dad's mom passed away back in 2019, and I distinctly remember the day she passed and all of that. That night though, it's like something sat down on my bed while I was sleeping. You know, you can feel the weight of your bed shift. And I don't know how to explain her, but she was one of the most beautiful souls you'd ever meet. Accepting, loving, like, she didn't know her son had gotten married to me. We didn't tell anybody. And when she first met me, he's like, yeah, this is my wife. She was like, I have a daughter. Like, she was so excited. She's like, and you're a redhead. Yeah, because she was a redhead. So I was like, this is cool. But I can remember her talking to me. I can remember her telling me that she's okay and that he was going to be okay and that she was safe. Like, and I can remember feeling like her touching my arm and my shoulder and like just speaking to me until I passed out. Like, she was just telling me of all the memories she had about when like his dad was young, when his siblings were young, like all the little details and little stories I had never heard before from anybody. And that was probably the one that stuck with me the most. Actually, all the deaths stuck with me, but that one because it was personal.
Right.
The other ones, let's see, I'm trying to think of which one is like the most aggressive one.
I actually got a question for you.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. So I'm actually reading this book right now called The Psychic Spy about Ernesto Montgomery, and he was he had the same type of skills where he will be able to pretty much tell people how they would die. But I was curious on like how does that actually like work? Like how does that even feel like to be able to read a tarot card and like tell somebody like, yo, watch out for black cats, or don't eat chicken. Like, how does that work?
I have a black cat and she's very sweet, thank you. But I don't. Death has never been scary to me. My mom was very sick when I was growing up, and she almost died a few times. So death is very natural. So that part itself doesn't scare me. I never could tell how they would die. I could tell them that they were going to die within the near future.
Okay.
So I never knew the actual event of it. I just knew that it was going to happen within like a 5-year, 1 year. Like I knew the timestamp.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know anything beyond that.
Gotcha.
And most of the times it's because of reckless decision making. Like they would ask, like, I want to do this, but I'm going to go and do that. Or the person that asked to read for them would be like, this are the two choices that they want to do. And I read them both sides. Like, if you choose this is how this is going to go. But if you choose that, that's how it's going to go. And telling them, I guess, the first few times it was uncomfortable. But most of them knew that they were near death. Like, they knew it was coming already. And they just had not expressed it to family.
Did they say it explicitly to you as they got the reading?
Privately, yeah.
Privately?
Yeah. Most of the time they were with their whomever wanted to bring them in for a reading. But afterwards they would have private words with me. And they're like, hey, I didn't know you were going to read that far. Like, I wasn't ready. And I was like, I apologize. I stepped too far. They're like, no, it was easier to say it that way because at least I'm not saying it. Like, I took the fault for saying, like, hey, your loved one's going to pass away. But, so I got to take that heat for the person, which actually, it takes a lot of grief and stress off the person who wasn't aware it was going to happen. And it also takes the stress and the grief off the person who is going to pass.
Right.
So that means I get to be that body for them so they can go through their process together.
Right.
It was beautiful, but also very exhausting.
Right.
Dealing with newly passed people is very rough. And I see them all the time as we're walking around, like, I guess you would call them shadow people, but these aren't really shadow people. They actually have distinct features going on. But I could be walking down the street and I can see, like, they look kind of phased. Like, from the knee down, it looks like they're fading out. And you can see the distinct details of, like, their hands and their face. But, like, their torsos are kind of faded. Their thighs are there, but, like, everything's faded out. And I can see them in a crowd just walk and just go. Like, just smoke.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, there goes another soul.
Is anybody else able to see that? Like, or is it kind of just unique to you?
I guess my mom she was kind of in tune with the afterlife, but, like, not in the same sense. She never really saw them, she just felt them. I could see them and conversate with them if I allowed it. I had to learn how to prevent that, like, to protect myself so that they wouldn't just willingly come and talk to me. Because honestly, sometimes when the dead talks to you, they talk for a hot second and I don't have the patience for the time.
Oh, wow.
So
I mean, shoot, time don't apply to them. At
Yeah,
that point.
exactly, that's the thing. And then
Shoot,
but,
you
like,
see anybody-
you're talking about, like, the 3 a.m. thing. That's when they're most, like, crazy active, and I'm pretty sure it's because that's when everything's the thinnest and whatnot. And for the longest time, I would wake up at, like, 3:33 on the dot for years, and I'm like, again, and it's always somebody in my room, like, hey, are you awake? You can see me.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, yes, I can. I was sleeping, but here we are. What do you need?
Oh, wow. So it really be like you see in the TV shows and the movies. Like, oh, my God, you can see me? And they be...
For me, anyway, I've met other people that it's not like that. But I think it's just because I'm so comfortable with death that it's just like, oh, you're dead? Okay, what's up? Like, it just doesn't faze me in that sense. So I think part of it's that is that I just accept that as what it is. But there was an aggressive one that came to see me after he had passed and broke several objects in my own home.
Oh, wow.
It was fantastic. I was livid. But he had passed because he had chosen to do some things he shouldn't have done and OD'd. Warned him. I was like, you make that choice, you're going to live in that bed. Like, don't know what to tell you. And I can remember waking up at 3:34. It was not my usual time. It was 1 minute off. And I woke up to, like, my mirror that was attached to my dresser. It wasn't completely attached because it was, like, ghetto rig. Because, you know, it was expensive and I was keeping that and it was breaking. But so I had, like, duct taped it and whatnot. But it had completely pushed forward. Like, it was pushed forward and shattered all over the floor.
That's how you woke up? Too?
That's how I woke up, and I was like, damn, we mad. And, I could hear the yelling, like, in the house. Like, it sounded like it was spiraling through the house. Like, you predicted this, you made me die, da-da-da. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I told you your choices and actions would put you there. But, like, my mirror had broken, the cabinets in my kitchen had opened, and, like, the dishes I had, like, came out, broke. It was fantastic. My favorite coffee mug.
Bro,
So
he took it personal.
you took it
I was
personal.
so I was like, I didn't choose to do that for you. And then, so the only things I could do really with that situation is lay my salt bearers, burn some sage and Palo Santos, and just be like, all right, do your thing. Be mad. What are you going to do? Destroy more shit? Okay. Like, to kind of let him have his own thing. And I never personally got hurt. Like, he never came at me, but he definitely liked throwing shit everywhere.
Throwing a fit.
Yeah. And then I remember him, like, I opened my door so that he could fucking leave. Like, leave. Exit. And when he did, I had, like, pictures by my front door of, like, not really pictures. They're more like moths and butterflies and dead shit. And he, like, one by one, like, somebody took their hand and just swipe, and just knocked them all down. And I was like, damn.
That's wild.
Attitude. And then he slammed the door. It was fantastic.
That's crazy.
But that's the most, like, aggressive one I've ever had. Most of them are usually, like, thanks for being there, or, like, hey, I finally passed. Like, can you hug my family for me? Kind of thing.
So
that one.
So do you still, like, experience these ghost experiences today?
I do, from time to time, but I choose to protect my home and not accept it in just because I have young ones, and my daughter has seen a few things, and I just don't want to risk that for her. And my son, I can remember a few months ago, he's like, Mom, you weren't home, but I kept hearing you talking to me. And I'm like, first off, if there's anything I taught you, if you heard me saying your name and I'm not there, no, you didn't. If you hear whistling in the dark, no, you didn't. If you heard anything in the dark, no, you didn't. Like, because I grew up in Minnesota, but also in Tennessee, near the mountain.
Yeah.
Kind of. Well, not really. Kind of on the other side, but I had friends that were over there, so like, weird shit happens there too.
Wow. So do you think like the geographical location really determines?
No,
The spirit
I
and
think
stuff?
the events that have happened there determine it.
I think geographical does affect it to a small amount.
Really?
Because your fault lines put off a different frequency. And they say a lot
Okay.
of your UFO sightings and stuff come
Yeah.
from those areas. So
was
it's
gonna
likely
say-
it does.
Isn't Sedona, Arizona, like a big spiritual center too?
Yes.
Like a whirlpool vortex, yeah.
I guess we could do that, yeah. I guess I would look at the history. Like most, the South's a great location because there's so much deep-rooted bad history.
Right.
Crete is an interesting.
There you could look at the trees and see what they've been through. So you can see the spirits lingering on the trees.
Oh wow.
Like if you ever go down there to visit the historical sites of our disgusting history, you can see how willowed the trees are and how just they look so heavy. They look like they carry so many burdens of so many lives.
That's
Mhm.
deep. I know I seen a willow tree, but I never thought about it like that. And the idea
I'm
that
saying
it's-
like if you go to a plantation, them
Right.
trees,
they really willowed.
they're really willowed down. They have like usually they have like white draping on them and they're just you can just tell they've been through so much, they've seen so much, and the energy there is completely different than like other places that didn't experience the same amount of genocide.
Wow. Dang, that's deep. That's deep. I appreciate all that, Rachel.
Yeah.
You really did drop some knowledge for us. I truly appreciate that.
Anytime. I'm here for y'all.
One last
Yes.
question though, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, what made you stop doing like the tarot and stuff like that? Was it that aggressive experience? Like what drew
No,
that
actually the aggressive experience made me laugh.
on? I
Like,
like the attitude.
like what am I gonna do? Be mad about it?
Right.
Okay. No, I stopped because of my wee ones, my babes.
Oh,
Okay.
More so that my daughter is very sensitive to supernatural. She's also told me some weird shit about past lives, it's weird. Dude, if you ever get to talk to a kid underneath the age of 6 about shit, fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. But no, because she had started seeing things, and I was like, you're too little to be fucking around with this shit.
Right.
So I was like, we're gonna put a hold on all that. I'll read for myself personally and friends and stuff, but like publicly, no, not so much anymore.
Yeah, that's a lot
But
of
that's
energy.
mainly why. It's just for the wee babes, like just to protect them.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. That's interesting. That's really deep. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel. I truly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you guys. Thanks so much for coming up. You got a Google caller?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right, you guys about to try something
Fingers
new.
crossed.
Fingers crossed, everybody. About to go to the next level again. Right now, we're about to have a Google caller coming in. DJ's boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. What's a tease, man?
Talk to him.
Oh, you can hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, wow.
Shock and awe.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we'll see if it's static here. If it gets too much, bear with us and we'll try it again. But it should work right. You ready?
All right.
Yeah. See y'all. All right.
Reverberating.
Yeah, give us 1 second, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's like hold on real quick, Chase.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a little
Double
up
up.
action.
Oh.
Yeah.
Double up action here, but
Chilling.
oh,
Mad, man.
Yeah, we're live. Chase, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, let's see here, because it's going through the speaker. Can everybody hear Chase?
Chase?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
I
hear
can
you.
hear clear. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it like that so it doesn't feed back. Are you hearing yourself back? You hear everything good, Chase? How you doing, man?
I hear everything well, man. How you doing?
Yeah,
Doing
we're
good.
good. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not your host though. I'm the producer. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes. So yeah, we'll let your host talk to you.
Welcome in.
Yes, welcome, Chase.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, man. How you doing today, brother? You good?
I'm doing well, man.
Yes, no, I appreciate you so much for taking the time and jumping on. Mr. PJ told me that you had some amazing stories to share with us today.
Yeah, I have a few encounters.
Oh, yes, sir. I would love to hear them if you was willing to share, whichever ones you prefer.
All right, let's do a little bit of context.
Oh, damn, I can see you now.
Yeah, back
You got
in
the
2010.
campfire.
With the campfire. Sorry.
It is. Yeah. Back in 2010, I was in a rough patch of my life, and I ended up finding my way into prison, right?
Mm.
So I had 3 encounters in prison. The
Oh,
first
wow.
one was me and my cellie. So the units, for a little bit of context, the units, there's 2 tiers. There's 14 cells on the bottom, 14 cells on the top. And there's only one set of stairs to get up. And so I was there's 28 cells total. I was in cell 27. So there was one more cell to my left, and then it was a brick wall. So you had to walk all the way up the stairs to the right of my cell, and to the right and forward, so we could see it from the window in our door. So me and my cellie, man, we're cooking a little bit of pruno, man. We're doing our thing. It's like our little hustle, right?
Right.
We cook it and sell it. So he's standing by the door, keeping watch, because we don't want to see Oda bust us, right?
Right.
So I'm doing my thing, washing off my little fireball, the coating on the fireball, so we can get the sugar, blah blah blah. And he turns away from the door and he looks over at me, and we're kind of chopping it up. And then we both see somebody walk right by the door, but they walk from the right to the left, clear as day. Both of us, like, we're freaking out. So we run up to the window. I'm throwing dirty laundry on top of our little badge. We run up to the window. We're looking out the side of the little cracks in the door, trying to see who it was, where they went. But there's only one cell to the left of us, and then the wall. Like, there's nowhere they could go over there.
Right.
And we couldn't find anybody. There was nobody left. They never walked back by our cell or anything.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of freaked us out, right? So, so that was like my first kind of like real spooky encounter. And then so I ended up getting busted for pruno later. And I got level 4. So in level 4, it's like gladiator school. It's real crazy down there. I was actually got hole time for it, but there's a waiting list to go to the hole. So I'm at level 4, and one of the COs and one of the inmates were having an issue. So they were beefing. The CO was pretty cool. I mean, he was, for a CO, he was cool. But they go into the janitor room, they're going to hash it out, right? They're going to fight. So because, I guess the cop he was with me, so they go into the janitor room, and they scrap it out, and they both give just as good as they got. It was pretty even fight, and then I was locked in my cell, though. There was only one tier out at a time, so I didn't get to see the fight, but I heard about it. But anyways, the cop gets off his shift, he leaves, he goes out to his car, he dies in his car.
Wow.
He was bleeding in the brain, so they ended up busting that dude too. They ended up giving him a murder charge, but so later that night, in my unit, like I hear a siren going off, and I like jump out of bed and I'm running to the window to see what's going on. and their CERT unit, SRT, the Special Response Team, they come running in with, you know, guns and everything ready to roll. And we're all freaking out trying to figure out what's going on. Turns out that a bunch of inmates and the cops in the bubble, in the tower that watched, there was someone walking around doing count, like a guard walking around doing count. There wasn't supposed to be a guard on the floor at all. So they were freaking out, radioing it in, and so there was like an unidentified person on the tier, and so like I think one of the cops quit after that, or maybe he got transferred somewhere. I don't know, but it was crazy. There was a big fiasco about that.
That's crazy.
So that was real trippy.
And you said multiple people saw it?
Yeah, a bunch of people saw it. Both the guards in the bubble saw it, and there's only 2 guards stationed at a time overnight, right? So they were both in the bubble, so they didn't know who the fuck was, or who the hell was out on the tier doing count. So that's what they were freaking out about. They radioed it in. There wasn't supposed to be anybody over there. So they called CERT out. Yeah, it was.
And then what happened after they came in? Like, did the dude just disappear, or?
Yeah, he wasn't there anymore. I never saw the dude.
Right.
I was kind of like not paying attention to when the guard was doing, like if there would have been a guard walk by my door doing count, at the time I probably wouldn't have really noticed because I had like a towel hung up so they couldn't shine a light in my face.
Oh, okay. You're smart. I like it. That's crazy.
So there was a big ruckus about it. Yeah, it was locked down for a couple of days. It was a serious ordeal.
That's crazy. And then they just right off of Supernatural?
Another one, I finally went to the hole.
Oh, wow.
This one was a trippy one right here. So there was this. So when I was in the hole, you're in a cell all by yourself. So I had that same towel hung up from the top bunk and it would drape down to the bottom bunk, and it would block me from being able to shine flashlights and stuff in my face. So, but there's about a 3-4 inch gap between my mattress and the bottom of that towel, and I'm laying down in bed, and well, here for a little more context, there was a dude in the cell next to me who would just, in the hole, everybody freaks out, right? Scream out their cell, they yell at each other, because nobody could get to each other, so people are pretty disrespectful. So there was the guy in the cell next to me. I was always pretty cool with him. I didn't make friends with him or talk to him, but I'd like give him coffee or I'd give him like soup or something. And he would freak out at his door. He would just like be in panic mode, and then people would be yelling, "Oh, fuck you, kill yourself."
Wow.
You know, like, yeah, like they would give him a real hard time. I felt bad for him, but he ended up killing himself. He hung himself in his cell, and he was in the cell right next to me, so it kind of tripped me out. They were dragging his body out. But anyways, later that night, I was laying in bed with that towel draped down, and I kind of look. I'm looking towards the door, and I see 2 legs in front of me because there's just that little 3-inch, 4-inch gap. And man, I jumped out of bed like I was getting ambushed or something, dude. Like I jumped out of bed like a freaking ninja, dude.
That's crazy.
I thought it was going down, dude. And nobody was there. And I just, after that, I felt a little bit peaceful. So I don't really know, but I'm just under the impression that he was saying thank you to me because I was always kind to him. And I gave him, I would give him store and stuff because I had commissary and he didn't have shit.
Right. That's crazy.
So that's
crazy. No, I appreciate you sharing all of that. I think that right there is really mind blowing. Definitely the idea that, you know, the dude hung himself, but shoot, came back and just showed respect at the end. Like, that's crazy. And the idea that you encountered it and felt peace afterwards is like how PJ said earlier, you can only determine if it's a bad or a good spirit. So I think that right there is like a perfect example of that.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the energies, especially in a place like that. It's very heavy, dark energy.
That's crazy, man. That's wild, brother.
I think the setting's just interesting. Like you said, it was prison or jail. Yeah, prison.
I don't know if you can hear us.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it was a little muffled.
My bad. You said it was prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't expect any stories to come from prison, but like I think the setting's really interesting and like honestly, like I mean I think it's just cool that you were cool to that dude at the end. Like I mean, for him to come say bye, and honestly just showing at least a minimum of good neutral nature towards him. I mean, I don't know. That's a good karma in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's never fucked with me since, so.
No, I feel that one, man. I feel that one.
And then there was one more experience I had when I got out of prison. When I met my wife that I'm with now, I moved into her house, and this house was like toxic, and it was like we didn't like it, and it's weird because now when I look back on it, I feel that when we moved out of that house, both of our mental health just got so much better. But one night I woke up and there was this girl floating over the top of her and looking at her like maliciously right in her face. And I got freaked out, jumped out of bed, woke her up, told her about it, and I don't know, dude. It was like that girl was like jealous of her or something. It was so real. That's one more experience. That was the only other experience I ever had. But that one was crazy too.
That's wild. Yeah, and that's one thing I never truly experienced. I'm praying I don't experience that, actually seeing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can only imagine that fear, waking up and just seeing somebody float over your wife too? Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's wild.
Staring at her maliciously, like angry, you know?
Right. Like you got a ghost girlfriend or something.
I can only assume it's because I'm so goddamn handsome.
Told you. I told you.
Wanted me, dude. I'm a married man.
I love it, man. I love it. So I guess my question for you is, after all those experiences, have you like started to look at things differently now? Because like you said, you didn't experience them before prison, but then after, or during and after, I was wondering how does that make you look at life now a little differently?
I've always been pretty open-minded about those things, but it definitely makes me not doubt people as easily when they share their experiences.
Right.
Because, you know, sometimes when you hear people sharing experience, you're like, okay, this dude's probably crazy. And, or, you know, oh, he might be crazy. But, man, after you've seen some stuff like that, and you know you're not crazy, it is kind of mind-altering, yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you guys talk to anybody else that's ever been in prison, I think quite a few people in prison will have stories like that. Will have some kind of encounter or some crazy story. It's kind of common there. It's a dark place. There's a lot of dark energies, dark spirits lingering. Is the only way I can explain it. I mean, I don't know if that's really what it is. Maybe because they were incarcerated and trapped. Maybe they had an effect on their soul. I don't know.
Right.
But it definitely is mind-altering, and it definitely changes your perspective.
Yeah, no, I truly understand that, man. I appreciate that. Mac, right? That's a Mac.
Chase.
Chase. Sorry, Chase. Sorry, Chase. Thank you, Chase.
Like a pursuit.
Yes. Prison Chase Pursuit. I got it. I'll never forget now. I appreciate you, Chase, so much for sharing all those stories, man. We're gonna have to I'm gonna have to get you on a one-on-one episode, Real Talk. So we're gonna reach out back out to you for sure. I appreciate you, Chase.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir. Can we get a round of applause for Chase, everybody? Say it again, I'm sorry.
I said you boys have a good one.
Oh, yes, appreciate you. Thank you so much,
blessed, man.
Chase. Yes, sir. What's our time, Mr. T's?
We're at 90 minutes.
Oh, perfect. So we're right at the wrap-up time. So, cool. So, Mr. PJ, I just got one more question for you, and then we're going to wrap this bad boy up, sir. I know you're hungry.
Sure.
So, Mr. PJ, my last question for you is just based off all these encounters that you have experienced, aliens, you know, supernatural, everything like that, how does that make you look at life? Like, in what way?
You know, he gave a prime example, man. You know, you can't doubt what people say. And then it made me realize there's a lot more to life than what we think.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, you know, someone's controlling the narrative or something's controlling the narrative that doesn't want us to have access or, you know, connect with these types of things. So,
Right.
you know, it just kind of opened my mind to, you know, look deeper into it and realize it's a lot more to life than what we think.
Mm-hmm. No, I truly agree, bro, and I truly agree with that because, you know, how they say on the Boondocks tees, you got known knowns,
Known
unknowns, and the unknown unknowns. We got the things that we know. We got the things that we know we don't know, and then we got things that we don't know that we don't know. So yes, that's how I like to look at life now, bro. It's so much out there. So yeah. Keep your eyes open, keep your mind open. Is there a quote you can leave or something like this?
Who else wants to share? Anybody else want to share it? Anybody? Becky? No? Nobody else? No? Alright, cool.
I think that was.
Yeah, I think that was the quote.
That was the quote.
There's no
unknowns. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, like that. I love that. I'm just gonna wrap it up with that one right there. So yeah, everybody out there watching today that tuned in for our very first live episode and is still watching, I truly appreciate you to the fullest. Thank you so much for joining us online. Everybody out there in my audience, everybody out there in the audience, thank you guys so much for coming out. I want to make sure we shout out our amazing vendors. We have our amazing CMOS vendor, Miss T. I'm not sure how much you want to throw me out there. Miss T, CMOS. We had some amazing CBD products offered by Miss Rayana. Get your name right, yes. You saw me correct myself. I got you.
Just call me Ray.
I know I'm calling you Ray, but you know I love your government too. But yeah, Miss Ray.
The government name what?
So yes, we some amazing products by Miss Ray. We have Miss Ann helping out with the crystal sales. So thank you so much, Miss Ann. Miss Becky, thank you so much for doing the tarot readings. So if you guys are out there, definitely in Vegas, you want to check out the next one, make sure you make it to the next show because we're going to have all that stuff plus some more things going. We also have hot chocolate for sale. So if you missed on the hot chocolate, yeah, you missed out. It's bomb on this cool winter day.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's actually finally kind of cool night.
Yes. So, yes, with that being said, I just want to say thank you all again for joining us. PJ, thank you so much for being our very first guest on this live and for making all this possible, brother. I appreciate you to the fullest. Mr. 1-3, good to see you on camera.
Yes,
You look
sir.
good.
Thank
Hair
you.
a little nappy, but hey.
Wow.
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 With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. A marvelous afternoon.
Whoa, that's crazy. Yes, you hear that? That's your man. That's your man.
With that being said, hope you guys have a wonderful day, a marvelous afternoon, a splendid evening, and remember to just keep swimming. All right, everybody in the crowd, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Just keep swimming.
Woo! All right, I'm out of here, baby.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Not here.
First of all, I'm shook.